And hi, everybody, and welcome to the Berg Bistro as we talk Heidelberg football, the undefeated number 24 ranked Heidelberg Student Princes, as a matter of fact. There we go. And it's always a little bit more fun show when you're undefeated and you're ranked and all that, and things are going good. And Scott Donaldson will talk Berg football in just a little bit. You'll be our guest first segment and the last segment. We also have assistant coach Jamar Lewis on. And Jamar is no stranger to Heidelberg football as a player here and a graduate assistant and now a full-time assistant coach. We'll talk with him. And two of the top receivers, not only in this team, not only in the league, but in the country, Dean McGee and Tony Morris. So we're looking forward to talking to those young guys right here in just a couple minutes. But let's talk BAS Sports Network, as WTTF is one of the members of the five-station sports network here in the area, which includes Tiffin, Fremont, Clyde, Bellevue, Sandusky. And tomorrow night, some high school football. Can you believe week number 6?
That's unbelievable. I can't believe, because they're 3 weeks ahead of us, and I lose track. That's fantastic.
Yep, week number 6. And as far as the Tiffin schools go, tomorrow night on WTTF, right here, it'll be Tiffin, Columbia, not Sandusky. That'll be a tough one for the Tornadoes, as they're still looking for their first win. Sandusky is on a roll. They're 5-0 and state ranked.
Yeah, they're Sandusky's got the quarterback, that athlete, and Sandusky's a very good, experienced team. And Coach Lutz over there is doing a great job. He's finding his way. He's got a lot of youth playing for him right now, and that's tough at any division, but especially Division III in high school football. That's real tough. That's really tough. So, but they're fighting through it. They got some good kids.
Maybe they can put everything together. It's going to be on the road, but it'll be on WTTF tomorrow night. Also, Tiffin Calvert will be at Fremont St. Joe. I'll be doing that game, actually, with some other guys. And, Calvert beat Gibsonburg last week, Coach, with 10 seconds to go on the road.
That's a big win. Big win for Coach Fox. We knew that game was going to be close, and we were talking about it last week. Because both coached by great guys and both good football teams. So, congrats to Coach Fox and the Senecas over there.
All right, so we'll take on St. Joe tomorrow night. That's on Eagle 99, 99.1 FM. Other games on 92.1 The Wolf, WOHF. It'll be Perkins, Sandusky Perkins at Clyde. Clyde's on a roll, too. They've won 5 straight. They won their first 3 games real close. 3 points, 2 points, and then 2 blowouts last 2 weeks. And, Perkins hasn't won a game yet, but we were talking with Ryan Carter last night, and he said, boy, you can't overlook those teams. You just can't look at the 0-5 record.
Yeah, no. Clyde's a very well-coached team, and Coach Carter does a great job over there. And they're a very experienced team, too. They're not going to overlook anybody, and they're good. Clyde's very good.
Yeah, they're state-ranked as well. We'll talk more about that later. Then on Coast Country 100.9, it'll be Willard at Margaretta tomorrow night in the Sandusky Bay Conference. Of course, Heidelberg at Muskingum on Saturday. And for fans, don't forget the kickoffs at 1 o'clock, not 1:30.
Yep.
So make sure you tune in and don't miss the opening kickoff.
Nope. Don't.
Or head down to New Concord, Ohio, and cheer on the tricolor. Huh?
Come on down. It's a beautiful campus.
It is.
Actually, you have a beautiful stadium, and come on down, see some fireworks.
That's for sure. We've been down there a few times myself, and it is nice, kind of nestled down in the hills of southeast Ohio there. Then also on Coast Country on Saturday, Northwood plays at Tiffin University in Division II action.
Mm-hmm. Coach Goff has got things rolling over there. Great for him. Really happy to see him get things turned around over there.
All right, so that's a look at high school football. Let's talk about Heidelberg right now. What a game last week. I really enjoyed myself. The fans enjoyed themselves. I know you did and your players did. John Carroll comes into town, the defending OAC champions. They had a loss earlier this year, but that was to a very highly ranked Wisconsin Oshkosh team. Came in with a lot of returning players from that great team a year ago. And it ended up a 47-21 Heidelberg victory. It was one of those games where I had this sense that you were in control of the game the whole way. You never counted out John Carroll, but your defense so helped your offense. The 5 picks, the 2 pick sixes, and everything else. Your offense did score some points, but your defense scored at least 2 touchdowns, and probably get credit for a third.
Yeah, and that's and honestly, John, that's the way it felt to me. You know, I mean, that was probably the most calm I've ever been in a game, and especially, you know, being up on the number 9 team in the country. I didn't expect that, but our guys never flinched. They did a great job of just staying even keel and having fun out there. You know, that's what this game's about, is going out there and having fun, and they did. They absolutely did, and obviously it's more fun to win, let's face it. And it's obviously much more fun to beat the number 9 team in the country. But they did a great job. But no, I felt like we were in control that whole game.
Well, an interception by Jermaine Burkett earlier in the game, the first quarter, set up the first touchdown, which was a one-play drive, really.
Yeah, with Bokeh off the edge there, yeah.
Made it 7-0. At first, I thought it might be a lower-scoring game, and then the second quarter, things opened up, and you scored 2 touchdowns. They scored 2 touchdowns. You still had the lead at halftime. Matter of fact, you got a couple big plays. Tony Morris is sitting right here, a 73-yard pass play from Stoyle, and once he got that ball, he turned on the jets on that sideline and took it to the house.
I don't think Usain Bolt could have caught him on that play.
Yeah.
I mean, he was gone. He was gone. He caught that ball, he was gone. You know, and that the second we did that, you know, obviously getting the first touchdown was a big touchdown, but we had a short field, you know. But the second, you realize, okay, we can score on these guys. You know, we can do it, because in the past we haven't been able to. You know, that defense is really good. Don't get me wrong. That is still a very, very good defense with great football players. But once you realize that, it really opens up your mind and it says, okay, we're fine. We can score anytime we want to. Let's roll. Okay, and that's really what happened. That's why that play specifically was so big. I mean, obviously a 73-yard touchdown is big no matter what, but that opened up our minds to, okay, we can handle this team.
And again, going back to the confidence factor, your team had the confidence throughout the entire game, and they lost confidence early, doubting themselves, and you don't want to play that way.
No. And it's also a team that not a player on that football team or our football team was on the team when the last time we beat them in 2012. You know, so it's not something they were used to. It's not something we were used to, but I think we handled it extremely well because I think we kind of knew it going into the week. I don't think anyone on our football team or involved with our football team had any question what was going to happen Saturday. All right, and that goes to show you some great leadership from our upperclassmen, and 2 of which you're going to talk to with Dee and Tony right here.
Second half, you outscored them 23-7, and kind of capped off the victory with a couple of pick sixes, one by Donovan Walker, one by Michael Warden, and that was 2 of the 5 interceptions throughout the day. And again, your defense set up your offense.
Yeah. I mean, anytime we can get the ball back to our offense, we know good things are going to happen. Okay, and we were able to get 5 takeaways. Okay, and that's our goal every single week. And if we can get them 5 takeaways, we know we're scoring over 45 a game. All right, it's just you can't give that offense and these receivers and Stoyle and Vokey, you can't give them any more opportunities than we're ever going to get ourselves.
And looking at the defensive stats as far as tackles, you know, it's not just a couple guys making the bulk of the tackles. You look, there's probably a dozen players on the defensive side that had between 4 and 6 tackles in the game. You know, so it's a team effort.
Yeah, exactly. We're very blessed to have really good depth, especially in our front 7. You know, with guys, I know we had John Eckroth here last week, who was a National Team of the Week guy, but he doesn't even start.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And he'd start at 99% of the schools in the country outside of here. He's just behind Austin Crow. You know, Mike Warden got National Team of the Week, had two interceptions and a pick 6. He's not our starting safety. You know,
right.
so it really goes to show the depth we're able to have, and especially in a game like Saturday that was, I think they said 107 on the turf. I mean, it was hot. It was hot. We were talking about that
especially with black uniforms too.
Yeah, there's no question. It was hot, so you have to be able to rotate as much as humanly possible. And we were able to do that, and I think that was really the difference in the fourth quarter, because our guys were fresh and still going.
Yeah, so big victory, now 3-0. We'll talk to the guys about this too, but, you know, last year got up to a 1-2 start, I believe. 2 years ago, 0-3. But what a nice feeling when now you're 3-0. You start the season, and that just builds confidence every week as you go along. And it's so much nicer, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. little bit.
Little
You
bit.
know, but obviously with that too, we got to make sure we're not getting overconfident.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that we're grounded and stick to the things that got us to where we've gotten, and that's work.
Well, the thing is, going down to a team that's struggling in Muskingum, they won their first game, but they lost their last 3, all in conference, struggling a little bit, and you don't want to have that mindset of, oh, well, they're struggling, we could take it easy or whatever. But
Absolutely not.
when you go to their place, we've had some close games against Muskingum over the years, and they haven't had the greatest record.
No, I mean last year they took us to the wire. I mean we had to have a last-minute drive, and I think actually D. McGee on a little inside screen there on a fourth down got us down to the goal line. I mean that was a game we probably should have lost. And honestly, that was my fault last year. We didn't prepare like we should have prepared, and we did not make a mistake this year. We were very prepared for this game, making sure we go out and do what we need to do against Muskingum.
Tyler Stoyle, another ho-hum game. He is, because you expect it from him, and he comes out 20 of 35, very efficient. 317 yards, 3 touchdowns. Boy, a lot of quarterbacks would love those figures, but he does it all the time.
Yeah, that's just Stoyle. You get used to it.
Yeah,
I'm kind of upset he didn't have 6 touchdowns. I mean, that's.
Of course, some of those were, the long one, like 73 yards
Yeah.
to Tony there too, but and all that. But again, a great victory over John Carroll, and John Carroll, one of your rivals, teams you especially like to beat, and had lost some tough ones over the years, and is especially sweet last Saturday, first home game too.
Yeah, and the crowd was great. I mean, coming out to a college football game at 1:30 when it's 95 degrees out, and not even on the turf. I mean, the crowd was phenomenal. The student section under the scoreboard end zone was unbelievable. All the student athletes that came out and were really hilarious. I really hope we can keep that going, and because I know we'll be out there for their games. I know that, but no, the crowd was phenomenal. And you talk about home field advantage. We really do have a home field advantage. Okay, anytime you're playing on our turf at our castle, that's an advantage for us because of the support we have and because of the fans we have. They're unbelievable.
Well, going back to the heat and the depth, with the heat, the heat retains on that field turf and is over 100 and some degrees on the field, and it is good to have that depth because you can substitute with confidence throughout the whole game, and guys can get some breaks.
Exactly. I mean, in the world of college football, especially when it's that hot, you can't expect a guy to go. Well, I don't care what position you're playing. Maybe quarterback. Quarterback's okay because they don't run too much. But the rest of the, you can't expect a guy to go to more than 50 plays and expect to be fresh in the fourth quarter. So to be able to get guys in, whether it's for a drive, whether it's for 2 plays, it doesn't matter. But being able to get guys in like that is really key.
And Austin Baker, a couple field goals in the ball game. It helped out, a couple 33-yarders. So he's holding his own at the place kicker, doing a good job, and also the punter, so he's on the field a lot.
Oh, yeah. Austin does everything for us. He's a great leader and a great kid. He's a local kid that transferred into us. He's done a great job for us. I know he's got a couple missed extra points, but those really aren't his fault. We got to get some protections issues figured out, but his punting's unbelievable. Number 1 in the conference in punting right now, averaging over 40 yards a punt. Not that he's had too many punts, to be honest. I think he's only had 5 in 3 games. So, he's done a phenomenal job for us.
That's what you want. You don't want your punter to be out there a lot.
No.
You want him just maybe once a game, twice a game, and that's about it. So, if you have a team that your punter's really working a lot, that's not good.
No, that's not what you want as a coach. No. Punt return, you want a lot out
That's
there,
right.
But not punt.
All right, real good. So back on the road this week. We'll talk more about the game, but just a quick word about the Muskies. Again, they played they didn't have the bye week this year early. They're going to take it later on, right?
Yeah. Them, Coach Logan at Muskie and Coach Daup at Outerbind kind of had a little side deal worked out that they'd play week 2 instead of, I think, week 6. Kind of switched their bye week to play early, and it was a good idea. The conference approved it, and so they'll actually, I think, have a bye week next week, right after us. So.
All right. One of the longer drives in the OAC, although most of the drives are a little long except for Ohio Northern. Mm-hmm. But one of the longer drives, Marietta's further, Wilmington and all that, but it's going to take a good 3.5 hours to get there. And again, should be great weather. Heidelberg fans invited to go down, and against a 1 o'clock kickoff, not 1:30. And if you can't make it, we'll have the game for you right here on WTTF. But right now, Coach, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back and we'll talk catching the football, receivers, and the
Let's hope.
Yeah, and also, Jamar Lewis, the new wide receivers coach. We'll talk to him first, and then Tony Morris and Dee McGee up next here on the Scott Donaldson Show. You're listening to this Thursday night program right here on WTTF. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
I'm tired already. I shouldn't have did them warm-up drills.
There she is. Look, hey, J-Loo's mic'd up today. Everybody say everything you've ever wanted to say to him. I love you. Hey, that's better than what you could have got.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, get that ED fixed.
I don't even know what that is. Your middle name, I don't know it yet, but I'm gonna find out here soon. I'm gonna call you by your middle name for the rest of the year. We should call everybody by their middle names for now on. We probably got some interesting ones. What's your middle name? We talking about you right now. Listen, I want to talk to you because everybody messing with me right now. You remember our handshake?
I keep forgetting. Don't you?
I did it wrong? What happened?
Okay.
This.
You do it to me.
Oh, and then that. All right, one more time. Bam, 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 bam.
Don't try to steal our handshake. See that Jamar on?
I know.
Oh, you mic'd up.
Stop it.
Yes.
Stop it. Hey, even if they don't come to y'all side, usually most teams test the wings right here, so y'all got to be prepared, though. Y'all the two most important killers on this unit. Diamonds, 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 diamonds on me dancing. Stay on your same level. Now when you come back, switch levels. Switch levels now, switch levels, switch levels. There we go. There we go, good job. G Money.
What up, baby, man? Number 3, about to be a breeze.
It's gonna be a breeze. Just for y'all. You ain't believe him? Why you ain't believe him?
I just said how you know.
He ain't believe you.
Yeah, nah.
You know what that mean, right?
What that mean?
He don't mess with you like that.
Oh, come on, me?
That's what it mean.
Hey, well, homie, man.
Hey, look, I don't care what he
John
says.
Kearns on this Thursday night, couple of days away from the next Heidelberg game at Muskingum in the Ohio Athletic Conference, and we're glad to have Coach Jamar Lewis with us, wide receivers coach. And let's go back from the beginning. You're a graduate of Bedford High School.
Yes, sir.
In the
Yes,
greater
sir.
Cleveland area.
The Bedford High School, yes, sir.
The Bedford High School. I've been there a couple times, and when Fremont played, I think, Benedictine, they used the field. We talked about that off mic, so I'm familiar with your field.
Mm-hmm.
Nice-looking stadium and field there.
Definitely.
Yep. So at Bedford, when you were in high school, was you only a football player, or did you wrestle?
Oh, no, not
Didn't
at all.
wrestle,
All
okay.
my friends played basketball, so I
Yeah.
just was on the team just because my friends were on the team. But I was basically just a football player.
Yeah.
Played baseball one year just because my one friend wanted me to come out, but just mainly focused on football my entire career there.
Did you have some pretty good teams at Bedford?
Oh, yeah, definitely. My freshman year, my brother was a senior. And it was kind of funny because we had a lot of guys that had brothers as seniors, and we were all freshmen, and they actually made it to the playoffs the year before we got there. And then actually my senior year, we went back to the playoffs too as well. So
That's good. How did you get to Heidelberg? How did you become interested in Heidelberg University here in Tiffin, Ohio, after high school?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. So I originally went to Ashland University, and I ended up leaving Ashland, and I was headed to Akron University. And one of my friends' brother used to coach here. Richard Rowdy Bush was a graduate assistant here back then. And I was in Target with my mom one day in the summer, and he seen me, and he was like, "Hey, why are you not at football camp?" And I was like, I don't play football anymore. I kind of, lost the love for the game. So his mom called him, and he instantly called me about 5 minutes later and told me to come up here. And I was like, I don't know. But then I came up here like 2 days later during football camp and seen everything. And I ended up leaving Akron right before school started and transferring here the first day of school and started playing football.
So it's kind of a last-minute thing. Huh?
Last minute thing, yeah.
Very good. A lot of people come here. They like, the small campus and the atmosphere and the friendly people and all
Right.
that. Now, you played here. They didn't have this nice stadium behind us. We had to play over. Not that Frost Calno's not nice. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
but it wasn't your own stadium.
Right, definitely,
And now it's pretty neat that Heidelberg has their own stadium to call their own.
Right, definitely. And we actually got to play our last 3 home games here on campus in 2009, which was pretty cool,
Yeah.
too, because they brought in the temporary stands. And
I remember that very well because the press box was outside under a tent,
Right.
and we were right behind the bench.
right, and the coaches used the lifts as their
Yeah,
coaching
and
boxes,
so I remember
yeah.
that distinctly. And so we had a little riser, and we sat up there, and it was underneath the shade tree. And so it was kind of comfortable, and I liked it, And then we got switched to the other side, and then the
Right.
new stadium, a new press box was built, and the rest is history. But
Right, definitely.
a lot of involvement here. You graduated, and then after graduation as a student athlete, you became a graduate assistant. So what led you to want to become a coach?
Actually, when I transferred in here, I had an extra semester or 2 to still go, and the next year after I got done playing football, I was kind of like didn't know what I wanted to do after that. So Coach Holiday kind of approached me and asked me to be a student coach, and I came that whole next year and I helped out for a whole year, and then that kind of helped me transition into being a coach, and I kind of seen that I really enjoy doing it and still being around the game.
So that was for 2 years, 2 seasons, or just one?
Just the one season
Just
as
the
a
one
student
season.
coach as I finished my undergrad.
Got you. And that was some good teams back then. And Cartel Brooks was here, I believe, when you were a GA. And
Right.
then you made your way down to the state of North Carolina, and tell us how you ended up at North Carolina Wesleyan.
When I got here in 2007, Coach Jeff Filkowski, was offensive coordinator here. And then after he left Marietta, he took that job down at North Carolina Wesleyan College. And once I got done being a GA, I was kind of in transition and looking for another coaching job. And I got in contact with him, and he told me just to pack my bags and meet him down in North Carolina. And it was history ever since then. So I was down there for the last 4 years.
All right, very good. How does the league that North Carolina Wesleyan compared to the Ohio Athletic Conference?
It's still a pretty tough league down there too as well. The main difference is that league is pretty spread out. So we went from North Carolina to playing a team in Tennessee to Alabama to Georgia, all the way back up to Virginia, and
Wow.
even up to Maryland too as well. So each game we had to stay overnight. Every away game we had to stay overnight. So it kind of gave us that big feel as being like a big Division I conference football team, just because we got the chance to travel. And some of those long bus drives, about 9 hours, wasn't too fun riding on the bus that long. But
Yeah, it kind of loses its fun after after a while, doesn't it?
So we definitely enjoyed it though.
And then back here at Heidelberg, and now your first year here as a full-time coach, as a wide receivers coach. And boy, you came back and you have some great wide receivers. 2 of them are sitting right here.
Right, so they make my job a lot easier
was gonna
each
say.
day. So, we definitely like to have a lot of fun. This is definitely a special and a good group. You can just tell by the way they interact with each other at practice and how, we kind of play around a little bit, but we have so much fun. We get our work done and not even know it at the same time. So.
And they're not the only ones. You have some other young talent as well. These guys are more upperclassmen. How about your younger guys and, like Mr. Belcher and, Braden Jerome, guys like that? Well, Braden's been around for a while, but how about some younger guys that are the wide receivers? Do you also coach tight ends, or are they line?
Just wide receivers. So
Okay,
some
yeah.
of the younger guys like Kevon Belcher is going to be he's already a great receiver, but it's going to be even better in the near future. And even some of the freshmen that we have coming in, like Purvis Terrell and Teddy Tate, and also Dimitri Pinnick too as well. Those guys work hard every day, and the nice thing about having D and Tony, they kind of push those guys to work hard every day, and they compete with each other every day too as well, which also makes our experience that much easier and makes it that much more pleasurable to go to practice and have these guys, actually help out a lot with me. If I'm on one side of the field, they can help the receivers on the other side of the field because they are basically students of the game out there.
Well, Heidelberg's been blessed to have a long string of great receivers. Mike Preston, Dante Dye, both have played in the NFL. And there's others, obviously. But, it's gone back, several years or maybe a number of years that we've had, top-notch receivers. And it continues today. And with these guys helping out the younger ones, it's going to continue.
Definitely,
I know it is.
And it was kind of something that I want to say like Lucas Bauer and DeJuan Rowdy kind of started all the way back in 2007. Those guys were kind of like the leaders of the wide receiver class when I first got here. And even guys that they kind of looked up to, like Rock Patterson, too, as well, that had all the records that might be end up breaking his senior year, too, as well. So, like you said, it's just been a year after year after year, like the older guys helping out, bringing the younger receivers along, too, as well.
You know, receivers have had a lot of catches. I know Dante's had I'm sorry, I just talking about Dante. But D. McGee's had, 28 catches in 3 games. That's hard to believe. But, you know, he's got a great quarterback to work with. Tyler Stoyle, a lot of experience. It's his 3rd year, parts of 3 seasons. And we're just talking about Tyler, he's so confident back there. Mm-hmm. You know, he throws for 300 yards, and, you know, you don't even know it. I mean, he just goes out and does his job.
Definitely. And Tyler's a great leader also at practice, too, as well. And he also helps not only other quarterbacks, but the entire offense with every whole scheme of things at practice. And he just always makes sure that everybody's in the right position. And, you know, sometimes they out there communicating with each other. And as coaches, we don't know that they change plays and everything like that. And
Sure.
It just kind of shows how much on page as our offense and our team is together right now. It's kind of something special to watch, even when you have practice. Sometimes I just sit back on the side and just, you know, listen and see how they interact with each other. And it's kind of just a great thing to have.
Well, what a great start your team's off to this year at 3-0. I know you weren't here the last few years, but some really tough, heartbreaking losses prevented the good start. And so, you know, last year 1-2 start, 2 years ago 0-3. Mm-hmm. Now 3-0, coming off a big upset win. That's just got to, you know, the confidence just has to be sky high. And I know that, you know, Coach Donaldson said it's great to have confidence. You just don't go past and be overconfident and kind of overlook people. But I know you guys won't do that.
Right. And like we've been telling our guys, we just got to take it one game at a time. Just be 1-0 each week. And, you know, you can never overlook an opponent because that's when it comes back and bites you. I know that kind of happened to us our senior year going into the Muskingum week 2 as well. We kind of looked past Muskingum, me, Coach Greaves, and some of the other guys that's still on the staff right now. And, you know, we thought that was going to be an easy win, and they ended up coming out and blowing us out that year. So,
yeah.
You know, you definitely can't take anyone for granted, and they have a very good team right now. So we definitely got to go in and execute and play to our best ability.
Can't overlook anybody in this conference, the Ohio Athletic Conference, because it's pretty balanced. I know, you know, Mount Union has won a lot, you know, and as of late, you know, John Carroll, but still, you know, the competition is really good.
Right, definitely. So.
Okay, very good. So, how about a few words about the Muskies and their defense that you have to prepare for? What's their what concerns you about their defense with your, you know, going against your offense?
Just watching them on film, their defense is very athletic. So they have a guy on the D-line that kind of caused a lot of havoc, and they have a lot of young DBs, but their young DBs are very athletic, and one is kind of like a taller, bigger guy, too, as well. He's about 6'3", 215 pounds, so he can cover a lot of ground. So we definitely have to be precise with, you know, everything that we're going to do in the passing game, just so we can kind of stay away from, you know, the different defenders that they have to offer out there.
Okay, very good. It's one of the longer trips of the year, and best of luck to Heidelberg this Saturday at Muskingum, and I'm sure your offense, your receivers will be ready to go.
Yes, sir. Hopefully, that's the plan. So.
Okay, very good. It's assistant coach Jamar Lewis, and we'd like to thank him for stopping by here tonight. And coming up next, a couple of his players will be joining us, Demetrius McGee and Tony Morris, veteran seniors. I think they've both been on the show before, so we'll talk to them about this season and then this coming game. All right, it's the bottom of the hour. We'll take another break. We'll be back with more of the show after this. You're listening to WTTF.
Your hometown?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Your major?
Accounting.
Who is your favorite staff member at Heidelberg?
Robin.
What has been your favorite athletic moment at Heidelberg?
Scoring 3 touchdowns against Marietta last year.
What is your favorite movie?
Remember the Titans.
What is the best concert you've attended?
I went to a Lil Wayne concert a couple years ago. That was great.
Who was your first celebrity crush?
Megan Good.
Your least favorite sports team?
Baseball.
If you were stranded on a deserted island, Which teammate would you want on the desert island with?
Tyler Sorter.
What is your dream vacation destination?
Belize.
What is your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
What is your favorite breakfast food?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
When you were a child, what was your dream job?
Professional athlete.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Nice job.
I was killing that thing, boy. I was going at it.
Open early, and they're closed. Well, they close late. So, this is a place that's open for everybody, not just students and faculty and staff. The general public from Tiffin or wherever can come in here and get some food. And I'm sure the football players check this place out once in a while. And it's a nice place to hang out, isn't it, Tony Morris?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, real good. We're talking with Tony Morris, who's been on the show before, number 5 out of Fairborn, Ohio. And let's talk about your high school a little bit. What other sports besides football did you play for Fairborn?
I did basketball 1 year and also did track 1 year.
Okay,
so.
but football was your game, obviously.
Yeah.
And do you have some pretty good teams at Fairborn your 3 or 4 years there?
My freshman year was pretty good, but after that it was
So.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have to ask everybody this, but how did you find out about Heidelberg, and what made you decide to go here?
Coach Moore, he's the head coach at Wilmington now, but he came down to my school and he, talked to me about Heidelberg, so that got me to come here. So.
Yeah. Did you have a visit? Came up and visited the campus
and
all that?
came up here on a visit too, and I like it. So.
Yep. So, a lot of people like the campus, and the stadium right in the middle of the campus and everything. It's small, but it's new, and like last week, a lot of fan support. Looking back to last year's night game against Ohio Northern, a great atmosphere. Have another night game this year on campus in a few weeks against Otterbein, which is one of your rivals. So we're looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, very good. Well, I talked about this before, but it's so great to have a 3-0 start.
Yeah.
Last year, you ended up 1-2 in the first 3 games, had some tough losses, and then 2 years ago, it was the real bad start, 0-3, and that just makes it so tough. But now with the upset over John Carroll, with 3-0, you guys are on a roll and have that confidence factor going into next week, or in 2 days.
Yeah, well, I think the first win against Olivet, that really helped us a lot, because the past 2 years we lost our first openers each year. So I think that first win gave us the confidence, going into those next 2 games. So.
Yeah, that was against Cortland. Just really tough losses. I think it was by a couple points each time, losing at the end both times. And you go up to Olivet, Michigan, and a team that's won that Michigan League for at least the last year or two. A very highly ranked program, and you handled them pretty good.
Yeah, we knew they were a pretty good opponent, so we were really focused and we really wanted to win. So.
And then Ohio Northern on the road, and another rival, your closest Ohio Athletic Conference team. Got the job done real well there too. And then we're talking to Coach about last week. I think once you got things going, he had the interception by Burkett, and then scored, got that first lead. And after that, I could just sense, broadcasting the game, that Heidelberg had the confidence throughout the whole game, and John Carroll started to doubt themselves.
Yeah. After the touchdown I scored, the confidence from everybody just skyrocketed after that. So we just realized that we could play with them. So.
Well, when you cut that pass, and it was right in front of their bench, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And some players have fourth gear. I think you turned it into the fifth gear or something because you took off like, and there's like a smoke trail or something behind you. and was that one of the fastest runs you've ever had? Because you're moving pretty good.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably the top of that's up there. So.
Yeah, and so that was pretty impressive. And like you said, once you got that touchdown, they started to doubt themselves, and then things just, went from there. And 5 interceptions. So your defense, you're an offensive player, but it's great to have your defense help out so much. It makes the offense, the job a little easier, isn't it?
Yeah, our defense played great. Especially, we always know our D-line and linebackers are good, but our secondary, they really stepped up and they played great. So.
Okay, looking ahead to the game on Saturday, what's your main concern about the Muskies, Muskingum, and their defense? What have you been looking at with their defense?
Just seeing the different types of coverages they run on, but not too much. We're just gonna run our basic stuff and just try to execute. So.
Okay, very good. So far this year, folks, Tony Morris, number 5, has 13 catches, 237 yards, which is 18.2 average per catch, 2 touchdowns, 79 yards per game in receiving, and the long was the one we're talking about, 73 yards, and in the win over John Carroll. So you played a lot over the last 3 years. Almost hard to believe you're a senior, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It flew by.
Yeah, it does.
Flew by, yeah.
But you have some big games coming up. 3 down. You got 7 big ball games coming up, and one at a time. We don't want to look forward to anybody. Just Muskingum on Saturday.
Yeah,
so.
that's all we're focused on right now is Muskingum.
Okay, very good. Well, Tony, thank you very much. We'll get Dean McGee in here next, and we'll see you then down in Southeast Ohio on Saturday. Okay, very good. Number 5. Yeah. All right, Demetrius McGee is next. Number 10, 28 catches on the year, 421 yards, 3 touchdowns, 140 yards a game, and 60 yards is his long this year. And we'll ask Dee the same questions pretty much as we asked Tony. First of all, kind of hard to believe you're a senior, your 4th year here at Heidelberg, but you're a Michigan guy, Rochester Hills, and I think I asked you this last year when you were on, but how'd you make your way down to Tiffin, Ohio?
I'm really just here. Honestly, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. Okay.
You know why I'm here.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
You're on national TV, you know that. So.
Oh my! I didn't know that. Can you ask me a question again? I'm sorry.
How'd you make your way down to
down here?
Down to Tiffin, Ohio, and play for Heidelberg.
Tiffin, Ohio.
Yeah.
Andy Lovins recruited me. He was a GA here.
Yeah.
When I was freshman, he came and recruited me, and it was like a couple of Division II schools that were looking at me, and like there's a couple like D3 schools looking at me, and I was thinking about like going to Mount, and they weren't really showing me any love for real. And then I came here, and Coach Howard and all the staff was like showing me a lot of love, and they I felt like a really family environment, so just brought me here.
All-American last year, 53 catches, and you've already, after 3 games, got about half of that, 28 receptions on the year. Tyler Stoy, you've been working now with him for the last couple years, and you guys work so well together. And he's a pretty confident guy. You're a pretty confident guy, and you guys just get the job done.
Sure. Yeah. Since my freshman year, or not the summer my freshman year, but after that, my sophomore and my junior summer years, we both stayed up here, and we just got to grinding every summer. We just stayed up here, got to work.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Tyler came in because John Sandwich got injured. Is that right?
Yeah, he came my sophomore year. Yep.
Yep. And so Tyler's come in, and he's had a great career, and he's thrown a lot of passes to you and the guys. And Saturday, trying to make it 4-0 as you play at Muskingum, and you didn't want to overlook anybody. A team that took you right down to the wire as Coach said, you probably should have lost that game last year, but you made the comeback at the end and won. So in this league, you can't overlook anybody. That's for sure.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. And it's going to be down at their place this time. So they're trying to get a little home field advantage,
Right.
for sure. But like I said, the team 3-0, great start on the season, and that helps so much to have that confidence. And your first 2 wins are over 2 tough teams on the road. Now you have another road game, and it seems like you guys over the last few years haven't really worried too much whether the game's at home. You'd rather be home, but you go on the road, you just get the job done, right?
Yeah, well, honestly, I'd rather have the games be away. I'd rather go to another team place, get a win at their place. But it really don't matter for real. We just
field's a field, right?
Yeah, field to field. It's all darn ball.
It's all the same size.
Yeah.
Kind of looks the same and everything, but
right.
hopefully it'll be a big victory on Saturday, then come in with the home game against Mount Union. But we'll worry about that next week. So
yeah, we're not worried about it.
not worried about them at all for right now. So
We're
all right.
about Musk.
That's right. Demetrius McGee, Dean McGee, thanks very much for stopping by. We're going to wrap things up with Coach Donaldson again, and maybe we'll talk to you again this season. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you.
Day,
okay. We're good. All right. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back. We'll wrap things up with Coach Scott Donaldson. We'll talk more about the Muskies and that game on Saturday. And again, folks, it's at 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll have the pregame show at 12:30 right here on WTTF. And if you can make it down to New Concord, Ohio, please do so, because they could use the support on that away game. Okay, we'll be right back with our last segment after this. You're listening to WTTF. These shows go fast for me because when you talk football, time goes fast, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's for sure. It's nice to say that the next game will be number 24, Heidelberg, at Muskingum. And these guys talk about road games. We talked about that, too. It seems like over the last several years, Heidelberg doesn't worry too much about going on the road. Yeah, it's sometimes a little bit difficult, with the travel and having to pack, and you don't have the same routine. But once you get on the field, they just get the job done.
Yeah, that's the big. Obviously, we love being home just because of the crowd, and it's just everything's a lot easier when you're home.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anything, but we have such an experienced team right now. It don't matter. We're playing down in Muskie or we're playing down in Texas right now. I think our guys can really handle anything in stride. And as a coach personally, I hate road games. I freak out. All right, the second I get that bus and it starts going, I think I forgot something. Okay, what did we forget? Do we got all the helmets? Do we got so I freak out for the entire ride there. So, but no, our guys are so even keel. It doesn't really matter right now.
Another game on Saturday afternoon. Al Logan's been around for a long time. He's had some success down there. I know his record doesn't look the greatest, but you know, it's a tough league. It's hard to win in this league, and but he always puts a pretty competitive team on the field.
Yeah. Coach Logan's a great coach, and he really is a great person. I actually spoke with him today. A really great person that I've learned a lot from just from coaching against him. Actually, one of my best friends is actually on that staff. A guy I GA'd with at Heidelberg, he was born in Tiffin. His father was the head coach here, Larry Shank, who's the AD down there now, and his son Chris is coaching the O-line for the Muskies right now. So it'll be good to see him. Good to see him. Always weird coaching against your friends.
That's the thing, you know, in the Ohio Athletic Conference. You know, Coach Lewis talked about North Carolina. The league's so spread out, but you guys have a pretty good, you know, relationship because the schools are all in the same state, you know, relatively close, and you respect each other.
Yeah. There's great coaches in this conference. I mean, I spoke about it at the media day. When great coaches leave, even better ones come in. It's pretty phenomenal. It really is, and there is a lot of mutual respect for people, for the coaches in this conference. Whether you're a head coach or an assistant, there's a lot of mutual respect for that, and guys don't usually leave the OAC for very long. Whether they leave and they come back, or they might go to another school in the OAC. You know, once you're in the OAC, you really don't want to leave, to be honest with you, because you love that camaraderie, that kind of. Because it's not just on the field. I mean, let's face it, we're all recruiting against the same schools, whether we're in Cleveland or Columbus or wherever. So we get to see each other on the road and everything. So it's competition, 365, which really breeds some good respect for each other.
Let's talk about their offense. What about their quarterback, their running backs, their receiver, the skill players for the Muskies?
Yeah, you know, they're an interesting offense. They really are, because they're not a triple option per se. It's different. It's the only way I can describe it. It's a different veer non-option team where they make you respect the entire field. They make you respect the entire 53 1/3 yards width of the field, with the way they play, and you have to play a disciplined game of football. Okay, like I said, there's not many pitches, there's not a dive and things like that, but it's in that kind of respect. And Coach Logan's an old option guy. That's where his history lies, and he kind of bred that into more of a spread option type of offense. But it's a little different. Their quarterback is extremely athletic. He's a young buck. All right,
That's Brody Hahn.
Yeah. You call him young and reckless, man. He's got a good arm though. He's got a good arm, and he is a phenomenal athlete. Really is. But you know, he's a freshman. You know, just like any freshman playing on the field, and especially at quarterback. You know, he first couple of games he made some mistakes, and that's what freshmen do, you know. But every single week you can see him getting better and better, especially with his legs and better control of the offense. They have a phenomenal running back. I think he's second in the conference right now.
Bernard Johnson?
Bernard, that's the number 21. Really a great speed back. I mean, we really haven't seen a speed back yet. We've seen some great big backs. You know, the guy at guy at Olivet, and you know, Christian over at Northern, and even the John Carroll backs. You know, this kid's more of a speed back, so that leads some problems in itself, especially on the perimeter of your defense. You know, and they got three very experienced, very good receivers. So there's no question we have to play a very disciplined game on defense, and we have to play a very good game on defense, because I think this is, as a coach, you kind of get scared about these games because this is a team that just hasn't realized it can be good yet. I'm talking about Muskie, and that they have the weapons, they have the coaches, and you just really hope they don't realize it against you.
Well, the thing is, I know. They've lost 3 straight to 3 league teams or conference teams, but they've scored 27, 28, and 25.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's a dangerous offense to go against if you're not prepared, or if you know. So we've really honed in on the things we want to prepare this week. It'll be a limited play call system, but you know, we're still going to get our opportunity to get after the quarterback if we can force him into passing situations. So that's kind of the goals this week.
Top receiver Damon Jones, who has 15 receptions.
I feel like he's been in the conference for about 9 years. I feel like
I remember his
I feel
name.
like I've seen him for the past 9 years.
Yeah, it's funny that there's certain players, not all players, but there's certain players you think they have not graduated yet.
I know, and I'm sure they talk about that with D and Tony. Like, these guys not, you know.
That's what happens when you play as a freshman.
Yeah.
Early.
So and Damon Jones, and then number 4, I'm completely blanking on his name, but he's one of the fastest receivers we're going to see all year in the slot. And you know, like I said, there's weapons there. There's weapons there, and we have to play a very good defense to contain these guys.
And again, you know, last year, perfect example here, should have the home field advantage. And you walked away with a 3-point win. Lucky to have that. So now we're on the road. So we'll see what happens. But you have scored the points, 40, 40, 47. Matter of fact, for a while there, I thought you could be scoring your 40 for the third time because late in the ball game, you get your last touchdown on I think the pick six, but you had 40 points again. It could have been the third straight week.
Yeah, nope. We're hopefully going to keep going up from that.
Usually, if you score 40, you should be in good shape.
I don't know about this conference, buddy. This conference is an offensive conference right now, so I'll rest easier when we're up at 57. How about that?
Other games this week all are in the afternoon. Marietta plays at Baldwin and Wallace with Marietta 2-1 overall.
That'll be a good game. Marietta's got a very, very good offense with a phenomenal back and a really dynamic quarterback. That'll be, I think that might be a really, really good game.
And then the Battle of Central Ohio. We know there's teams in the Cleveland area and then around here, but Columbus has Otterbein and Capital, and they play each other.
That's always wild.
Yeah.
You know, Otterbein Capital is one of the better rivalries in the conference, just because they're so close together, and their whole team is full of Columbus guys on both sides of the ball. So that's always a wild game. And I think Capital actually won it last year, didn't they, for the first time in a while?
I believe so. Yeah. How about Wilmington? You know, they went on a really, really long losing streak. They're 2-1. They beat Capital last week in overtime. So congratulations to the former Berg guys.
Hey, Dub C, baby. No, we actually, you know, as a staff, we were over my house after the win last week, and we actually got the chance to listen to the Wilmington game because it was a night game. We got a chance to listen to the final couple overtime plays there, and we went nuts, man. We loved it. Like I said, I'm going to root for Wilmington 9 weeks out of the year. All right, and just because you got such great friends over there. I mean, the godfather to my daughter is actually their defensive coordinator. So I'm glad to see them doing well.
Yeah, just not on October 28th.
Just not against us. Not against us. Not against us.
All right, so then Ohio Northern. By the way, Wilmington plays at John Carroll. Not only it's a really, really long trip for Wilmington, but John Carroll's not going to be in a real good mood.
I doubt it. You know, we'll see how John Carroll reacts. You know, Coach Fanati does a good job over there. He's an experienced coach. I'm sure he'll have those guys rolling.
You know, Ohio Northern, after you knocked him off a couple weeks ago, they took it out on Otterbein last week, 35-7.
That was surprising. Yeah, I'm not saying Ohio Northern's not a good football team. I thought it'd be a much. Excuse me. I thought it'd be really a high-scoring, closer game, to be honest with you. You know, just in the fact that both offenses are so good. But, you know, kudos to Coach Paul over there. He's got them rolling.
And Ohio Northern will play at Mount Union on Saturday afternoon as well. So Heidelberg and Mount Union, the only two teams in the league that are undefeated at 2-0. Otterbein 2-1, then a bunch of teams at 1-1. Including Marietta, Ohio Northern, Wilmington, Capital, and John Carroll. BW 0-2 and the Muskies 0-3 in league play. But Muskies got that first week in the non-conference game, and they won that one. I think it was a shutout.
Yeah, 19-0. They played at Waynesburg out in Pennsylvania, and they played extremely well. So, like I said, this game is really could be a very dangerous game for us. Let's face it. You know, coming off a huge win. And then, obviously, we know, I mean, everyone can see a schedule. Everyone knows who we have next week. You know, I think I was talking to Zach Baker over at the AT, and, you know, this is legitimately the definition of a trap game. You know, because you get between a big game hangover or looking ahead type game. And it can be very dangerous for a team. So, and obviously this week of practice, we've tried to make sure our guys are focused, and they are. They absolutely are. I've seen it. This is one of the best weeks of practice I've had my 2 years as a head coach. I mean, guys are focused. Guys know exactly what we need to do to keep rolling.
We have a couple extra minutes. Let's talk about some of the younger guys on your team offensively. You have to be real pleased about your two freshmen running backs, Jace Grossman and Josh Cross. Well, Josh is a wide receiver but does carry the ball some. Are they ahead of schedule?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime a freshman actually sees the field, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, they're ahead of schedule. Yeah. I mean, you know, and Josh was actually a receiver when he first came in, and he was a receiver in high school down in Miami. We saw what he could do All right, well, let's try him at running back. We had some depth issues at running back, and let's see what he can do. And probably day 5 of camp, it was the first day he took a handoff. It was, all right, it's a wrap. He's a running back. That kid is so dynamic. And what I'm seeing from week to week, he is getting more comfortable with our offense. He's getting more comfortable with our O-line and kind of what we're doing. And his high end is about as high as you could possibly imagine. I mean, we haven't had, and no offense to Vokey or Lacey, who are great running backs, but Josh Cross's top-end speed is up there with Cartel Brooks's. I mean, when he gets in the open field, he can go. I mean, go. And once, he's starting to get more and more confident with what he's doing, his production, you're going to see that grow and grow. And Jace was a really big surprise for us. The kid's a big kid. He's a big physical. He's a 1950s wing T fullback.
But he hits the holes real good.
He hits the holes so hard. He's actually got good vision. He's got very good vision, and he is just tough to bring down. And you can see that, especially when we bring him in late in games, when guys are getting tired. And we faced 2 All-American linebackers, 2 All-American middle linebackers 2 weeks in a row. Smurge over at Northern and Mason McKendrick over at John Carroll. And he's breaking their tackles. And you see them like, wow, that is a freshman. And those 2 are great linebackers, but I'm saying that he has that kind of power behind him. It's really kind of exciting to see. And it's kind of the same thing we talk about Josh. He's got to get comfortable with the offense. It takes some time. Does he screw up? Absolutely. Both of them screw up a ton. But you know what? I don't care. Because they go, even when they screw up, they're doing it at 100 miles an hour. Okay, and that's what I care about.
And Jace, played at Elmwood, a team that over the last few years hasn't had too many wins, maybe toward the bottom of their league, but at the same time, kind of overlooked, and sometimes it's kind of hard to judge a player when you're on a team that doesn't have too many wins, and then you come out into like Heidelberg when you get into college, and you kind of come out of your shell, and you really can develop.
Yeah. I mean, he was everything for Elmwood. I mean, obviously, he's a big, good athlete. When you get to those smaller schools, big, good athletes are kind of hard to come by, so he had to play. I think he played D-line for him. He played tight end. He played run. He had to do everything. So I think you see those guys, their learning curve really flourish when they get in a college program when they can just focus on one position. Hey, you play running back, that's all you play. You don't play anything on defense. You maybe play some special teams, but that's what you play. You see their learning curve really go through the roof because they can just focus on one thing. But credit to those guys. Our offense is not a very easy offense to learn. I mean, just like any college offense. So, and they've done a great job of being able to learn it, just like some of the freshman receivers we have. Guys that are seeing some playing time, Purvis Terrell and some of these younger guys that have really come up that are following the lead of Tony and Dee, and they've done a phenomenal job. And we're gonna have some freshman O-linemen play this week. We're a little bit banged up. You're gonna see a couple freshman O-linemen, and one of them might even be a local kid. So we're gonna kind of see what they do this week.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much, Scott Donaldson. We have to say goodbye because we're out of time, but we'll see you down at New Concord at Muskingum University on Saturday. Again, the kickoff is at 1, and the pregame show on WTTF, if you can't make it, is at 12:30. That's it. Thanks, Scott, very much. Thanks, guys. Coach Jamar Lewis and Tony
Can
Morris.
D. McGee say something? He wants to say bye to everybody.
Okay. Remember, you're on national TV.
I forgot to say something.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Hashtag sign Michael Preston. Shout out to my boy Mike P. Sign that boy.
Okay, very good. All right, very good. Thank you. We'll see you guys on Saturday. John Curran saying so long. I'd like to thank Nate back at the station, Nate Mullins, for taking care of things. And we'll talk to you Saturday afternoon at Muskingum. That's it for this week. Join us again next week here at the Berg Bistro, 1850, for the Scott Donaldson Show on WTTF.